Hey there, projectors. Thanks for joining me for your intuitive reading. If you're new to the channel, I do my readings based on the 5 human design types. I use tarot, oracle cards, and sometimes runes, and my readings are non-date specific, so if it resonates with you at this time, then it's your message. All right, let's get started. So, 2 cards came out together. We've got the Page of Stones, Lynx, and the Feline. So the Feline is often about kind of needing to get the work done, like needing to wrap things up before you move on to the next thing. Yeah, it's kind of like the feline loves to play, but he won't let you play until you've got your homework done, you know? So, he's kind of making this like little grimace. It's like, you know what you need to do. No snacks until, you do your algebra homework. But that could, if that sounds right to you, go with it. But the thing I noticed about these two together is that I don't know if you've ever seen a cat stalk something, but they kind of get low and they're like moving really slowly, very carefully. They're very aware of their surroundings. That kind of feels like you right now. And with the wheel coming out, the wheel is usually a signal that things are actually starting to move. Where you might have had stagnation before, you were kind of hitting a wall every time you tried to progress. This is usually a sign that things are going in the right direction. They're starting to move a little bit more. And with these guys coming out, it's almost like you don't believe it's real, It's like you've been trapped in your house or your apartment so long that the door is now wide open and you're like, is it really safe to go out? Like, maybe I should just stay where I am? Like, you're not... There is, like, a little bit of timidness about, like, maybe you got, like, something good happen, and you're worried that it's an isolated incident or it's a fluke, not that things are moving. And so you're just really treading really carefully with what's going on, trying. It's like you almost won't let yourself be overly optimistic because you're trying not to, let yourself down. So you're just treading carefully. And you also you're trying not to, in ways that you've been hurt before, you're trying not to relive those things. So, yeah, you're treading very carefully. With, let's see, the blasted oak here, very similar to the tower energy. And challenge. This is what you're walking away from. Like, there was something that happened, may have been a few months ago, something, that really shook you, that really, like, even if you initiated it, it was really altered the rhythm of your life significantly and kind of threw you out of whack for a minute. And it was really hard. It's been hard for you to regain or maintain balance and trust and faith about moving forward, just because the landscape is so new. You're like not totally sure. And this comes out with the Singer of Healing. So this stuff, this big shift actually signals, I think, you closing out some karmic chapter, which is great, you know. It's always like a little graduation to complete a little karmic cycle. It's exciting to be free of that and not have to repeat the grade. You get to move on at this point. That's wonderful. With this coming out next, the Singer of Connection. It's also about, being free from this past karma. Things are finally coming into balance. You know, the wheel moving. Finally coming into balance. One thing I wanted to note too is the transition from, you know, this is where you were, just feeling super out of your element, sort of out of sorts a little bit. And then, you know, even though you might currently be feeling a bit cautious and you're just like kind of stalking what you want, you're being really careful and choosy, and that's not a bad thing. But look at how confident you are in a very similar situation. You're like both in the tree, or he was in the tree, but you're just like watchful and confident. Like this is a good place to watch your prey, while here you're just like, you're at the mercy of nature here. You're just getting tossed around. So that's like really significant, you know, difference between those two states. And so, you know, as you're really starting to balance things out and feel more connected to source and that trust and faith, and connected to, you know, this has been coming up for you a lot, reconnected to who you really are. And the more that you're, it's like when we're really centered and grounded in who we truly are, it actually does sort of clear the pathway a little bit. It does make it a little bit easier and a little more clear to see how we move forward. The next two cards out are Four of Bows, Celebration. I think you're going to like this one. And Happiness. You know, it's like, I don't know if you've ever had to turn off the water source in your home. You know, if you own a place or if you rent, you know, the landlord's like, oh, we have to do these repairs. The water's going to be out from 9 to 5. And you're like, God, this is so inconvenient. I have no water. You know, it's, you know, it feels dramatic. And you're suddenly in this place where you're like, oh my God, the water's back on. The water's back on. The water's back on. The electricity's working. You know, the money's coming in. The connection is coming in. It all feels really, really positive. So I'm curious to hear, you know, how you make this transition. It's very clear that it's like, hold on, let me grab these. So you're like, state of chaos, at the mercy of nature, totally tossed around, to being like, are you sure this is okay? Is it cool? Am I good? I'm gonna be careful about what I get into this time around, you know? Like, I only want to experience what I want to experience. I'm gonna be more thoughtful. And here you're just like, alright, things are good. Things are better. Things are moving in the right direction. I feel free. I feel like there's room to move and to celebrate what's coming in. Finally back in the flow. So let me know what's going on in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Take care.